Hi, I'm Tim Engle. I am a commercial photographer in Sacramento, California. Most of my stuff is commercial, portrait, some fashion stuff. I actually studied photography at Sierra College, and I was a football player at the time, and I had gone into there and I was kind of like this, meathead looking guy, and everybody thought I was just this athlete that wanted to get an easy A, but I actually ended up getting awards and scholarships. My first Nikon, I was thinking about this the other day, and it was the Nikon EM. Like, I was just so enthralled. I think, and it had just had a 50mm lens, and I remember getting this thing in my hand and just thinking, wow, this is amazing. I was really socially shy as a kid, and the camera quickly became my shield to be able to do things socially. So I would be able to go and do the stuff that I wasn't doing before, from going to friends' parties to going to school events, and it was my camera that was my shield. I think advice early on that I got might have been, don't be afraid to fail. Photography, I think the one thing you have to understand is that you can read all the things you want, you can watch all the videos you want, but you have to push the button. You have to take a picture. You have to get out and do it. And you have to fail, because then you learn what to do the next time or what not to do. I often tell people that the amount of times I failed is way more than people have even tried. And so I can walk into a situation now, and I've screwed up so many times, I know exactly how to get it now. There's no magic sauce to it. You just have to get out and push the button. Looking back, I think one of my most fulfilling shoots was when I had the opportunity to work with some of America's most amazing female fighter pilots. The assignment was actually in Arizona, so we drove out with a full crew, a full carload of stuff, and I got to spend 2 days photographing female fighter pilots. And the stories that they told and the things they talked about were pretty mind-blowing. And so I think still to this day, that's probably my favorite shoot. I think one area of photography that I haven't focused on a ton, that I've actually been trying to more lately, has been product photography. I was asked to photograph, of all things, some knives for a company a while ago. And sitting in studio, working on the knives and just kind of like tweaking the light, not having anybody over my shoulder to like say things or ask questions or direct, was very, very relaxing. So I've since kind of continued that process, and I've been working on small products and knives for probably the past 5 months. The funniest thing I said to a client, I think there's not necessarily one thing, because different clients in different industries take different things. I spent a lot of time photographing doctors and attorneys, and I've realized over the years that I start to get almost an act. I have my routine depending on the industry that I work with. In a lot of cases, I'll only get, let's just say, 12 to 15 minutes with a subject. So I have to figure out ways really rapidly to get them to relax, to get them to smile. If I were a photographer starting out today, I think the one thing I tell somebody is, you have to first off be a fan of the image. And then the second thing is, you have to push the button. I've talked to other photographers say, no, I'm gonna wait till I get in a commercial assignment to do stuff. I'm like, you have to prove it out. You have to work it. If you don't push the button, then you don't know. A local camera store, I think, as a working photographer, is really important. It may be in the 20 some odd years at Action Camera. I've been through Dale early on, and then Charlie, and it's like they've always been here for me. And early on, I tried to get a few items, like just randomly, that were online, but it seems like it always kind of bit me in the butt. It may have failed or something, and then getting it returned or getting it swapped out was a whole issue. I don't have the luxury of waiting days in some cases for equipment to get dealt with, repaired, returned. I had an occasion years ago that I was on a shoot, I had a piece of equipment fail, I called over to Charlie, and he actually had somebody bring me a replacement on location. And that just, I think ever since then, that just solidified my love of Action Camera. Photography, I told somebody the other day, I love photography more today than when I started. And I think throughout all these years, it went from being a technical exercise to where I understood that, and that became second nature, to now it's back to a really creative exercise. I just enjoy the process, and I often said, if I won the lottery, I wouldn't change what I do, I would just have better gear.